Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to the Whiskey Cove. And on today's episode, we review Maker's Mark Cellar Reserve. Run that video. What's going on everybody, and welcome back to another new and exciting episode of the Whiskey Cove, where we will be delving into Maker's Mark's newest release, and that is the Cellar Aged. But before we will delve into that, we are going to do a quick shameless plug about the 5,000 subscriber free giveaway for you folks at home. Two things you need to do. A, be a subscriber, just hit that subscribe button down below. And then secondly, go over to the Whiskey Cove's website. The link is down in the description below, so definitely hit that up after this video. And then put in your free ticket. You'll go to the shop all tab and then you'll see that tag there that says free giveaway or free ticket. Sign up with all your information, so that's where the bottle kit that can be sent to. So all you need to do is pay attention to when we do the 5,000 free live subscriber giveaway, and then just check to see if your name's pulled so you can reach out to the Whiskey Cove here. With that being said, hopefully you folks will be able to get one of these 6 bottles. E.H.Taylor, small batch, 4-year Willet Rye. Early times bottled in bond, the blacktop brown Foreman version, All Forester barrel strength single barrel, and then Weller 107 OWA, and then one more bottle which we'll be announcing very shortly. I'll probably announce it before we get to 5,000 subscribers, so keep watching for that. So let's get these bottles out of here, and then let's get into today's video, shall we? So I must premise this review by, I always like to have the bottle in hand while I do the videos. I've never done a video or review, I should say, before where I haven't had the bottle with me. But as you've noticed from the thumbnail, the bottle was down in the Whiskey Cove, but it wasn't my bottle. It was a good friend of mine, Pat. He brought it over. We took a big chunk out of it, and he left me with a really nice 2-ounce sample because I couldn't film it. We were having a poker night, I couldn't film it there and then, so I had to wait till everybody left so I could get all my filming gear back out and do this review, which is what I'm doing right now. So thank you again, Pat, for giving me this sample and also letting me crush some of that bottle with you. I really appreciate it. I'm pretty versed with this distillate by now, but we'll still explore it together here. So this is the Maker's Mark Cellar Reserve. A lot of fanfare attached to this whiskey right now, but we're gonna make up our own mind and be very specific and very hard on it, just like we are with a lot of whiskeys that we do try. So this is 70% corn, 16% wheat, and then 14% malted barley. There's only one mash bill that comes out of Maker's Mark. The only differences that you get with Maker's Mark is the different stave profiles that they use to generate different flavors, but it's all the same mash bill. Maker's Mark talked a little bit about how they weren't able to get an age-stated whiskey in their warehouse because it just wasn't matching the flavor profile. The rotation that they do, it just wasn't creating exactly what they were looking for. So what they have at Maker's Mark, if you've ever done a tour, or if you will ever go to, you'll see this. They have a rick house built into kind of like the back of a hill. So the back of the rick house is all stone, which is just a hill that has been built into the limestone down there. So it keeps the rick house at a fairly low temperature, and that allowed them to kind of get the higher age statement without losing some of that traditional Maker's Mark flavor, is what they said about this whiskey. So this is a blend of 13% 11-year whiskey and then 87% 12-year whiskey. Mostly 12-year, but a little bit of that 11-year sprinkled in. And then MSRP on this is $150 if you can find it for that. Good luck, I would say, at that point, or at this point currently. So then let's get into the whiskey here. So then just looking at in the glass, just looks deep copper, burnt honey, if you like. It doesn't it doesn't have any of those floats, like little floaters in there, like I tend to see from a lot of whiskey, but it looks pretty clear, pretty damn clear. Maybe it is filtered. I couldn't tell you because I haven't got the bottle with me, but no particulates in the glass whatsoever, and it's doing a really good job of just looking so oily in the glass. Even after I've stopped rolling it, you can kind of see where the whiskey went. It's just still sticking onto that point of the glass, and it looks very oily just as I'm rolling it in the glass here. Let's go in for a nose on this Maker's Mark Cellar Reserve. So immediately, it just nose is so rich. It's very rich just straight up on the nose. You get like a vanilla cone, vanilla extract type vanilla there. And some toasted bread and toffee. It's beautiful. And maybe some like citrus, like orange peel there. And some plenty of like new toasted oak. This on the nose is just quintessential Maker's Mark. But I don't just mean like picking up a bottle of regular Maker's Mark. It kind of has some of those notes, but it's just ramped up to 100. Someone's just turned that dial right up on each one of those notes. It's really beautiful. And maybe a little bit of clove there hiding away. And maybe some almonds. Beautiful, beautiful nose. Great start so far. Let's go in for a taste. I think the first thing I can really draw from my first taste of this whiskey on the palate here is, even for a more proofier whiskey, it's like 56% ABV or 112 proof. It doesn't drink like that whatsoever. I promise you, this kind of drinks more towards like a 50% or even high 40s. You'd never guess that you're drinking such a higher proof whiskey. Okay, it's not a high proof whiskey, but it's 56% around that area. I don't know the exact, but it's right around that area. And it doesn't drink anything like that. And that's really impressive about the balance that this whiskey has. Beautiful, rich sweetness there right on the beginning, like a bit of a butterscotch note, caramel note right there. It's very beautiful. And then as that kind of sweetness continues to travel through, you get more of like that light toasted oak note. It's not over toasted or like a double oaked whiskey. It's just nice and lightly toasted, lightly caramelized if you like. And it makes for a very pleasant whiskey. It's very, again, not only is it rich on the palate, but the mouthfeel, the oiliness, it's very, very oily. And it's kind of like the gift that completely just keeps on giving, because I'm still tasting some of that really nice, lightly toasted wood notes and that rich butterscotch in and around my palate. There's no Kentucky hug with this whatsoever. There's a little bit of pepper on your tongue, but there's no Kentucky hug, which is, again, pretty impressive. Let's go in for another taste here, see if we can pick apart the finish even more. Just on that second pass, the sweetness just completely travels through along with the wood. Again, that pepperness there, but there's definitely like a toffee caramel, really nice rich note that runs straight through this whole thing. It does an excellent job. The finish on this is very long. It's sweet, you get a touch of spice, and you get plenty of that new charred, lightly toasted oak there. Very pleasant, very enjoyable whiskey. So, obviously, for $150 for the MSRP, this needs to be a good whiskey. This is a highly allocated whiskey. Here in Colorado, only a number of stores got just 3 bottles. Apparently it came in a 3-pack. I wasn't able to be one of the folks that got one of those. Well, thank you for hooking us up with some here tonight. However, for $150, value for money, A through F. That's a lot of money to be spending on whiskey, so you better make sure that you get it right. Maker's Mark definitely got that right here. $150 is a lot of money, so I'm going to give this a B. Even though I think that I would definitely pay $150 for it, it's just not excellent value for money, which is what A is. It's just good value for money, and definitely on the more pricier side. I know there's folks that are watching thinking I would never pay $150 for whiskey, and that's okay, you know, stay within your means and within your own budget that you put out for whiskey. However, if you're willing to splurge maybe a little bit of money, if you can find this bottle, then I do think $150 is a pretty damn good deal for this. With that being said, score out of 100, 0 being the worst, 100 being the best. We've had some excellent whiskey that we've tried this year on the Whiskey Cove. George T. Stagg 2022, Russell's Reserve Single Rickhouse, Bombergers. We've had some excellent whiskey. We've also had some not so good whiskey as well. We've rated accordingly, but this is definitely more in that category. So I feel like I've been handed out a couple of 90s here lately in the Whiskey Cove, and I think this is right in line with some of those. Score of 100, I'm going to give this a 90. It's a phenomenal whiskey. It's so good. It's in that top 10% of whiskey that I have ever drunk and that I've ever tasted. It's definitely in that A tier, if you like. It has all the quintessential Maker's Mark notes, like I said in the beginning, but just amped up, and you can taste through all of them. It's very pleasant to drink, it doesn't burn, it has such great balance running through the whole and the heart, the beginning, the heart and the end of the whiskey. Maker's Mark have done an excellent job of this. I love the age presence that is in this whiskey and that sweetness that just backs it up there. Let us know if you were able to buy one of these bottles, because it's definitely a unicorn. Let's wait and see if Maker's Mark kind of return with it, maybe put a different play on it, maybe a different age statement. I guess we'll wait and see. I'll be honest, I was thinking that they would be dropping a lot more of these bottles than just 3 a store, or 3 per store, or very limited stores. So maybe I was caught on my heels, if you like. I should have been putting the feelers out about this bottle a little bit sooner, because watching the Whiskey Cove's whiskeys to look out for every month, you would have known ahead of time that this whiskey was dropping, because we talked a little bit about it then. But with that being said, hopefully you've enjoyed today's review, as have I very much, as we drink through the world's whiskeys one glass at a time. Maker's Mark Cellar Reserve makes it to the 90s category. Cheers.